As this steadiness becomes familiar, you begin to trust yourself in a deeper way. You no longer question every feeling or thought. You observe them, learn from them, and let them pass when they've served their purpose. You notice that your sense of direction has grown clearer. Not because everything is planned, but because your values guide you. When choices appear, you know what aligns, and what doesn't. This alignment simplifies decisions. You understand that resilience is built through repetition. Each time you choose patience over panic, clarity over confusion, you strengthen a part of yourself that will support you in the future. You become more comfortable with quiet moments. Silence no longer feels empty. It feels restorative. In these moments, you reconnect with what grounds you, your breath, your intentions, your sense of balance. You recognize that compassion includes boundaries. Caring for others does not require neglecting yourself. You learn to offer kindness without overextending, and presence without pressure. You also see how acceptance reduces resistance. When you stop fighting what you can't change, energy returns to what you can influence. This shift creates calm progress. You allow yourself to be realistic and hopeful at the same time. You acknowledge challenges without magnifying them. You prepare without worrying excessively. This balance keeps you steady. You notice that confidence now feels quieter, more reliable. It shows up as consistency, not intensity. You trust follow-through more than motivation. This trust carries you forward. You accept that some answers arrive later than expected. You don't force clarity. You remain attentive until it forms naturally. This patience protects your focus. You continue to refine how you show up, calmer, clearer, more intentional. You don't rush growth. You respect its rhythm. You remain present with what's unfolding now. You move forward with care. You stay grounded in yourself. Let this calm support you. Breathe steadily. As this calm becomes steady, you begin to sense a deeper trust in the process of your life. You no longer need constant confirmation that you're doing things right. You feel grounded enough to continue, even when certainty is incomplete. You notice how your reactions have softened. Situations that once felt overwhelming now feel manageable. You pause, assess, and respond with intention. This shift protects your energy and sharpens your judgment. You recognize that presence is a skill you've developed. When your attention is here, fully, you experience fewer regrets about the past and less anxiety about the future. This presence brings clarity to simple moments. You understand that meaning is created through how you live, not through constant explanation. Your actions reflect your values more clearly than words ever could. This alignment brings quiet confidence. You also see how self-respect has grown. You no longer abandon your needs to maintain comfort for others. You communicate honestly, calmly, and with consideration. This balance strengthens relationships. You accept that life includes uncertainty, and you no longer treat that uncertainty as a threat. You treat it as space for learning, adapting, and discovering new perspectives. You allow yourself to be flexible without losing direction. When plans change, you adjust. When challenges appear, you respond thoughtfully. This adaptability keeps you moving forward. You notice that gratitude arises naturally when you stop rushing outcomes. You appreciate effort, progress, and support without needing perfection. This appreciation steadies your mood. You trust that growth continues even when it's not visible. Quiet consistency compounds. Small choices accumulate. You don't underestimate their impact. You remain open to insight without searching for signs everywhere. You stay grounded in what you can observe, influence, and improve. This groundedness keeps you centered. You continue forward, steady, aware, and intentional. You honor where you've been without living there. You invest in where you are becoming. Stay present with this steadiness. Let it guide your next moments. As you continue, you may notice a gentle sense of acceptance settling in. Acceptance does not mean giving up. It means understanding what is within your control and releasing what is not. This clarity saves energy and strengthens focus. You recognize that your journey has taught you discernment. You no longer react to everything that demands attention. You choose what deserves your response. This choice is a form of self-respect. You feel more comfortable allowing moments to unfold naturally. You don't rush conversations. You don't force outcomes. You trust that steady effort combined with patience creates meaningful results. You observe how your inner dialogue has softened. The tone you use with yourself is kinder, more constructive. You correct without criticizing. You encourage without pressure. This inner support makes a real difference. You understand that calm is not passive. Calm is alert, aware, and responsive. It allows you to notice details, think clearly, and act with intention when needed. You become more selective with commitments. You value quality over quantity. You protect time for rest, reflection, and growth. This balance supports long-term well-being. You also notice how resilience feels lighter now. It's not about pushing through everything. It's about knowing when to persist and when to pause. This judgment comes from experience. You appreciate how learning continues, even in stillness. Insight arrives when the mind is open and unhurried. You allow yourself these moments without distraction. You trust that consistency matters more than intensity. Small, repeated actions shape direction. You stay focused on what you can do today, without overwhelming As this reflection continues, you may notice a quiet steadiness forming within you. It's the kind of steadiness that doesn't demand attention. It simply supports you, moment by moment, as you move through your day. You begin to understand that remembrance can be grounding. It can remind you of what matters, of what shaped your values, of why kindness and integrity still guide your choices. These reminders don't pull you backward. They help you stand taller where you are now. You recognize that your capacity to care deeply is a strength. Even when it has felt heavy, it has also made you perceptive, patient, and thoughtful. You notice details others miss. You listen when others rush. This awareness is meaningful. You may reflect on how you've learned to carry responsibility with balance. You've discovered when to step forward and when to pause. You've learned that doing your best doesn't require exhaustion, it requires intention. There is relief in knowing you don't have to hold everything at once. Some thoughts can be set down. Some worries can wait. You are allowed to prioritize what truly needs your attention right now. You begin to see that healing is not about erasing feelings. It's about making space for them without letting them control you. When you acknowledge emotions calmly, they pass through more gently. You trust yourself more than you used to. You don't need constant reassurance. You recognize your ability to adapt, to learn, and to make thoughtful decisions even when things are uncertain. You also notice that gratitude appears naturally when pressure fades. Not forced appreciation, just simple awareness of what supports you today. A steady breath. A quiet moment. A sense of direction forming. You understand that growth happens in layers. Some insights arrive quickly. Others reveal themselves over time. Both are valuable. Neither needs to be rushed. You allow yourself to be human. To feel. To learn. To adjust. This acceptance creates stability and confidence. You remain present with your intentions. You choose calm over urgency. You choose clarity over noise. These choices shape your path. Stay with this awareness. Let it settle naturally. As this sense of calm deepens, you begin to feel more connected to your inner rhythm. You no longer feel pulled in too many directions at once. Instead, you move with awareness, choosing what deserves your attention and gently releasing what does not. You realize that peace is not the absence of memory or emotion. Peace is the ability to hold them without being overwhelmed. You are learning how to do this, quietly, steadily, in your own time. You notice that your strength shows itself in subtle ways. In how you pause before reacting. In how you listen more than you speak. In how you give yourself permission to rest without guilt. These are signs of growth. You understand now that the past does not compete with the present. It informs it. It shapes your understanding without limiting your future. You carry lessons forward, not weight. You begin to feel more grounded in who you are becoming. You don't rush identity. You allow it to unfold naturally, shaped by experience, values, and reflection. You recognize that compassion starts with yourself. When you treat yourself with patience, it becomes easier to extend understanding to others. This balance keeps you emotionally steady. There is comfort in knowing that you don't have to explain your journey to anyone. Your path makes sense because you are the one walking it. Clarity grows when you trust your own pace. You observe that moments of stillness bring insight. When the noise fades, intuition speaks more clearly. You learn to respect these quiet signals. You also see how resilience has developed without force. You didn't harden, you adapted. You remained open while learning boundaries. This is emotional intelligence. You allow yourself to let go of unnecessary pressure. Not everything needs to be solved today. Some things resolve themselves as you continue forward. You stay present with what matters now. You act thoughtfully. You rest intentionally. You move forward with calm assurance. Remain here for a moment. Let this understanding settle. As this understanding settles, you begin to move through your days with a quieter confidence. You don't need to announce your strength. You feel it in how you handle moments, especially the ordinary ones. You notice that your attention has become more deliberate. You choose where to place it. You don't give energy to every distraction or every opinion. This selectiveness protects your peace. You recognize that healing is not a destination you arrive at once. It's a way of relating to yourself, patient, honest, and steady. You allow yourself to feel without letting feelings decide everything. You become more comfortable with simplicity. Clear intentions. Honest effort. Consistent care. These basics create stability when life feels complex. You also notice how boundaries have softened into clarity. You know when to say yes. You know when to pause. You know when to step back without guilt. This clarity keeps relationships healthier. You understand that growth often happens quietly. Not all progress needs witnesses. Some of the most meaningful changes happen when no one is watching, when you choose better habits, calmer responses, and kinder self-talk. You trust the pace you're moving at. You don't compare timelines. You respect that everyone carries different experiences and learns in different ways. This respect reduces pressure. You begin to appreciate how resilience feels in the body. A steadier breath. Relaxed shoulders. A mind that returns to center more easily. These signals tell you you're integrating what you've learned. You allow yourself to revisit memories without getting lost in them. Opportunity, greater influence, and a life shaped deliberately rather than accidentally. This is not an exaggerated promise, it is the natural outcome of behavior repeated consistently over time. Continue clicking forward, continue acting with intention, continue honoring your decisions, and allow discipline to quietly deliver what motivation never could: stability, strength, clarity, control, and a future built by choice rather than chance. To awareness, to return to responsibility, and to return to the part of yourself that knows you are capable of more than avoidance, more than excuses, and more than fear. More whole, not because everything is perfect, but because you are learning to accept yourself as you are while still believing in who you are becoming, and this balance between acceptance and growth is the quiet strength that carries you through uncertainty, reminding you that you are not lost, you are learning, not failing, you are evolving, and not alone, you are supported by your own resilience, your own awareness, and your own capacity to rise, again and again, with greater understanding and steadier hope. Faithfulness, the faithfulness to show up, to listen, to speak honestly, and to act with compassion, and in this faithfulness, the deepest form of loss is prevented, not by changing fate, but by honoring the present, and not by fighting time, but by using it wisely, because what truly keeps something alive is not hope alone, but attention, not intention alone, but action, and not emotion alone, but the steady choice to care before it is too late to make a difference. Take a slow breath as you listen. Let your shoulders relax. There is nothing you need to rush right now. This message is not about urgency. It is about remembrance. About presence. About the quiet strength that lives inside you. There are moments in life when memories surface without warning. A voice you once knew. A laugh you still recognize. A feeling that arrives suddenly, gentle but powerful. These moments are not meant to pull you backward. They are meant to remind you of how deeply you are capable of loving. Love does not disappear. It changes form. It becomes memory, guidance, warmth, and resilience. You have carried more than people realize. Loss teaches endurance, even when it hurts. It reshapes priorities. It softens some edges and strengthens others. And somewhere along the way, you learned how to keep going, even when you didn't feel ready. You may not always acknowledge it, but the way you show up today is influenced by what you've lived through. Your empathy. Your caution. Your determination. These qualities did not appear by accident. Grief does not mean weakness. Missing someone does not mean you are stuck. Remembering does not mean you cannot move forward. You are allowed to carry love and still grow. There are days when the past feels close. Other days it feels distant. Both are normal. Healing is not a straight line. It moves in waves, and each wave teaches you something different about yourself. You have learned to survive uncertainty. You have learned to stand even when answers were missing. You have learned that strength can be quiet. You do not need to prove anything to anyone. The fact that you are still here, still learning, still trying, that already says enough. Sometimes, the most meaningful guidance comes not as words, but as reminders. To rest when tired. To speak honestly. To choose what aligns with your values. To protect your peace. You are not required to rush your healing. You are not required to forget. You are not required to be the same person you were before. Growth does not erase love. Growth honors it. As you continue listening, allow yourself to be present. Let memories pass without resistance. Let strength rise without forcing it. Everything you need for the next step is already forming within you. Stay here. Breathe. And continue listening. As you continue, notice how your breathing has slowed. This is not an accident. When the mind feels safe, the body follows. In this space, reflection becomes easier and truth feels gentler. You may find yourself thinking about moments that shaped you, times when support mattered, when words stayed with you longer than expected, when presence meant more than solutions. These moments still influence how you move through the world. It's okay to acknowledge that some lessons came through difficulty. You didn't choose every experience, but you chose how to respond. Even when it felt unclear, you adapted. Even when it hurt, you continued. That persistence matters. You are allowed to miss what was and still want what's next. These feelings can exist together without conflict. Holding both is a sign of maturity, not confusion. Sometimes strength looks like action. Other times, strength looks like allowing yourself to feel. Both are valid. You have learned that listening, to yourself, to others, to what feels right, creates clarity. When you slow down enough to listen, direction becomes easier to recognize. You don't need all the answers today. You only need to take the next honest step. Progress is built through these small, sincere choices. You might notice that compassion has grown within you. You understand people more deeply now. You recognize complexity. This awareness makes you thoughtful and grounded. There is value in remembering what mattered to you then, and there is value in honoring who you are becoming now. You are not betraying the past by evolving. You are carrying it forward in a healthier form. Rest when you need to. Reflect when it helps. Act when you're ready. Nothing meaningful is lost when it's remembered with care. Nothing important is rushed when it's built with patience. You are allowed to trust yourself. You are allowed to move forward calmly. You are allowed to take your time. Stay present with this moment.